Hey guys! Welcome to Film World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller film called Mea Culpa from 2024. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. At the beginning of the movie, we meet Mea, a successful defense attorney, struggling to hold her marriage together. Her husband Cal seems distant, emotionally attached to an old childhood friend, and overly reliant on his mother and brother. It's clear that Mea is not Cal's top priority. Things hit a breaking point during a counseling session when Cal abruptly leaves to answer a call from his sick mother, leaving Mea to finish the session on her own. Despite Cal's emotional affair and his mother's declining health, Mea finds herself burdened with keeping Cal's secrets while also managing the household finances. At Cal's mother Azalea's 60th birthday celebration, Mea braces herself with a stiff drink, knowing she's about to face her difficult mother-in-law. And sure enough, Azalea immediately starts throwing shade, making snide remarks about Mea's punctuality and even hinting at the idea of Cal having a new wife in the future. To make things worse, Cal's close childhood friend sits right beside him at the table, a seating arrangement orchestrated by none other than Azalea herself. Mea, already overwhelmed, reluctantly tolerates the situation. But the surprises don't end there. Cal gifts his mother an expensive present, bought with Mea's money, without telling her. Sitting beside her sister-in-law, Charlize, who is married to Cal's brother, Ray, things go from awkward to uncomfortable. Charlize casually mentions buying paintings from an artist named Zaire, which causes tension with Ray. On the drive home, Cal finally apologizes for using Mea's money to buy the gift and admits he sold their piano to pay for it. He tries to justify the sale by pointing out that Mea hadn't played the piano in a while. Still, the conversation takes a serious turn when Cal expresses his deep need to support his ailing mother, whom he calls his pillar of strength. The very next day, Mea finds herself in a tense situation at work when she encounters Zaire, a renowned painter now accused of murder. Zaire passionately claims his innocence, recounting how police raids have destroyed his commissioned works, and insisting that the murder allegations stem from a personal grudge held by the DA. Even though Mea is concerned about a conflict of interest, given that her brother-in-law is the district attorney, Zaire is determined to hire her, offering to pay for her services. After some hesitation, Mea agrees to review his case but avoids direct contact, asking Zaire to leave his details with her secretary instead. Fast forward to later that day. Mea and Charlize are leaving the gym when they stumble upon protesters outside a local gallery, demanding the removal of Zaire's controversial art. The gallery owner, however, seems unfazed. Mea brings up the fact that Zaire had asked for her legal representation, and while she's still undecided, Charlize points out that Ray is intrigued by the growing negative attention around Zaire. That evening, while Mea reviews Zaire's files, Cal confronts her, having learned she's considering taking on the case. Cal is adamant that she steer clear, reminding her that this would mean going up against his brother, the DA. But Mea isn't one to back down. She boldly throws in Cal's face the financial reality that she's been carrying for too long, covering medical expenses for Cal's uninsured mother. In a heated exchange, it's revealed that Cal, an anesthesiologist, was fired due to substance abuse, a secret he hasn't even told his family. After their argument, Mea visits Zaire at his home. The moment she steps inside, she finds him deep in his element, painting. There's an undeniable energy in the air, and Mea can't help but feel a strange connection. Zaire, sensing her curiosity, encourages her to explore the space before they dive into discussing business. Once settled, Zaire begins to open up, recounting his passionate romance with a woman named Heidi, which blossomed in Italy but ended in tragedy after an exhibition. Mea shifts the conversation to the crime itself, pressing Zaire about the crime scene. She points out the gruesome blood splatter that even reached a neighboring property, and informs him that skull fragments were shockingly discovered in one of his paintings. Her interrogation takes a chilling turn when she presents a video of his ex-girlfriend accusing him of plotting her murder. Zaire, visibly shaken, denies everything, and is baffled as to why Heidi would record such an accusation. Despite the damning evidence, including a $3 million life insurance policy taken out on the victim, Zaire appears genuinely unaware of these developments. His confusion and apparent ignorance leave Mea torn, and she begins to seriously contemplate representing him in what is quickly becoming a complex and chilling case. That evening, when Mea returns home, she is met with an unwelcome surprise. Her mother-in-law, Azalea, and her brother-in-law, Ray, are waiting for her. Azalea had cooked dinner, but the air is thick with tension, making the idea of sharing a meal unbearable. Ray, with a smirk, announces his mayoral candidacy, further stirring up the already fragile family dynamic. He slyly hints at knowing about Mia's potential involvement in representing Zaire, saying, "Your brother-in-law is going to win that case," clearly implying that his intentions go far beyond protecting the public or safeguarding women. Mia remains tight-lipped about her decision that night, but secretly resolves to take Zaire's case. The next day, Charlize apologizes for Azalea and Ray finding out about Zaire, but Mia can't shake her suspicion about Charlize's true motives. Was this accidental, or was she trying to stir the pot? Frustrated and struggling to conceal her anger amidst the mounting family discord and Azalea's illness, Mia receives an unexpected visit from Jimmy, her childhood friend, and a trusted private investigator who's always been like family. Sensing her stress, Jimmy takes her out for a walk to clear her mind. He had informed Mia about Cal's struggles long before his job loss, keeping a close eye on the situation to support her. Now, Jimmy is investigating Heidi's family in Mexico but has hit a dead end. During their conversation, Jimmy picks up on Mia's hesitation about representing Zaire and hopes she's not taking the case out of spite toward her in-laws. He wants to believe she genuinely thinks Zaire is innocent. Mia reassures him that she's following her convictions, not her anger. Later, at a meeting with the judge and Ray to address the potential conflict of interest, Ray directly accuses Mia of taking on Zaire's case out of revenge. Surprisingly, the judge allows Mia to continue representing Zaire, but sternly warns both of them about the serious consequences if things go south. As the investigation deepens, Jimmy engages Zaire in conversation, trying to get a sense of his character. He brings up a statement from one of Zaire's former partners, who described their intense sexual encounters where Zaire allegedly displayed aggressive behavior. Zaire, however, is quick to defend himself, insisting that their encounters were mutual and driven by passion, not violence. The lines between truth and deception continue to blur, leaving both Mia and Jimmy questioning what really happened, and what dark secrets are still hidden beneath the surface. As Jimmy keeps a close eye on Zaire, he notices something unsettling. Zaire smiles while reminiscing about intense past moments. He casually mentions ending a relationship with a partner who couldn't handle the intensity. When Jimmy pushes further and asks about similar behavior with Heidi, Zaire firmly denies it, emphasizing his deep love for her. But after their conversation, both Jimmy and Mia can't shake the feeling that Zaire is hiding something. Suspicion lingers. Jimmy decides to dig deeper, heading to Mexico to investigate further, while Mia takes a more cautious approach, advising Zaire to maintain a clean image and warning him about the possibility of drug tests. In their conversation, Zaire once again declares his love for Heidi, denies ever hurting her, and tries to downplay the significance of his ex-partner's claims. Mia assures him that Jimmy will get to the bottom of the truth. A few days later, Jimmy updates Mia on his investigation. He's hit several roadblocks, struggling to find any trace of Heidi's family or birth records, but he remains dedicated to uncovering the truth. Shifting the conversation, Mia asks Zaire about Renee, the gallery owner they'd encountered earlier. Zaire reveals that Renee had been a huge supporter of his art career, connecting him with influential people, but became resentful when he left her for someone else after gaining success. During their chat, Zaire tries to build a personal connection with Mia, but she remains professional, steering the discussion back to the case. However, as they talk, Zaire shares his feelings of being overlooked, and Mia, for a moment, relates, opening up about the challenges of caring for her husband and mother-in-law. Sensing a vulnerability, Zaire encourages her to express those bottled-up feelings through art, guiding her to paint calming blue waves. Unsettled by their growing closeness, Mia quickly excuses herself, saying she has to catch a train. Zaire offers to drive her home on his motorcycle, but she opts for an Uber, trying to create some distance. As she rides the train home, Mia's mind is racing. She reflects on her conversations with Zaire, particularly the personal details he'd shared. There's something about him. Despite her professional caution, she can't help but feel a strange attraction. She catches herself daydreaming about taking risks, something she's never done before. Once home, however, she snaps out of it and decides to reconnect with Cal. The next day, Cal shows up at home with flowers, a rare gesture from him. Though she's grateful, Mia keeps her distance. He suggests dinner, but she brushes it off, saying maybe after their next therapy session. Their strained moment is interrupted when Zaire appears out of nowhere, placing a hand on Mia's back and trying to introduce himself to Cal. Cal, showing no interest, quickly leaves. Later, Zaire asks Mia why she hasn't visited his loft, as promised. She explains that she prefers meeting at her office to stay focused on the case, but Zaire pushes back, saying he feels uncomfortable with the media attention and insists they meet at his place. Despite her better judgment, she's left considering his request. The next day, Maya visits Zaire at his loft, where he reveals his feelings for her and compliments various traits of her character. However, she redirects the conversation back to their professional obligations, striving to maintain a sense of professionalism. Feeling rebuffed, Zaire shares his issues with Trust and suggests they find a new lawyer. In a sudden change of mood, he decides to go dancing, brushing off Maya's concerns about being seen together. After a moment of hesitation, she follows him down a dimly lit staircase to a lively party below. The following day, Zaire apologizes, but Maya insists on keeping their relationship professional and setting clear boundaries. In an unexpected moment, Zaire questions those boundaries and attempts to kiss her neck. Uncomfortable with his advances, Mia chooses to leave him for some space. As she exits, she notices a painting of her face, hinting at Zaire's obsessive tendencies. Meanwhile, Zaire engages intimately with another person in a way that ensures Mia is watching, only allowing her to leave when it suits him. After this unsettling experience, Mia receives a photo from Jimmy showing Cal entering a hotel room with his childhood friend, which disturbs her deeply. Determined to confront her feelings, she returns to Zaire's place, where they share intimate moments, including a motorcycle ride. A painting of Mia hangs above the bed, representing Zaire's influence over her. Unaware of the possible consequences, she becomes enmeshed in a relationship that could endanger her career. Fast forward to the office, where Mia finds Charlize and her husband anxiously waiting for her. Initially dismissing Cal's worries, she pays attention when Charlize mentions the Winston Hotel, revealing that everyone is there for Zaire's health. Feeling guilty, Maya decides to visit Zaire to resign as his lawyer and refer him to someone else. Despite Zaire's reassurances of confidentiality, she feels compelled to terminate their professional relationship. During a meeting with Renee, Maya learns about Zaire's manipulative behavior, particularly his use of art to control women. Renee's story mirrors Mia's own experiences, pointing to similar tactics of creating and displaying portraits. Troubled, Maya heads to Zaire's place, removes the portraits, and discovers him working on a new painting featuring several portraits, including one of Heidi. After visiting Ray's house with Cal, Mia senses tension in the atmosphere. Ray and Zaire look at her suspiciously, and Ray positions Cal close to him, aware that Mia reported an inappropriate relationship to the judge. Hesitating, Ray encourages Maya to share her situation with Cal. Charlize tries to defuse the situation, but Ray silences her while Zaire criticizes Maya, implying that Cal deserves better. Cal urges Maya to be honest, prompting her to confess her relationship with Zaire. Cal becomes upset, questioning Maya's decisions while revealing his struggles with job loss and rehab. Despite the tension, Charlize attempts to support Mia, but is called back inside by her husband, leaving their conversation unresolved. Later, in Guatemala, Maya watches a news report from Chicago revealing that Zaire accepted a plea deal with potential for parole. Jimmy reaches out to Maya, expressing concern for her well-being, especially regarding Cal's return to counseling. Despite Jimmy's worries, Mia brushes off the conversation, assuring him she'll check in later. While jogging, Mia unexpectedly encounters Heidi, presumed dead, who steals her phone after a brief chase. Frustrated by the lack of police assistance, Mia contacts Charlize, asking to speak with Ray. Surprising both of them, she tells Ray that Heidi is alive and claims Zaire's innocence. Alarmed by Jimmy's intent to investigate, Ray urges Mia to return to the US for help. Charlize offers advice, but Mia insists on proceeding solo. Later, Jimmy contacts her, sharing shocking details via email that lead her to a dimly lit room where she uncovers portraits revealing Charlize's affair with Zaire, explaining Ray's determination to imprison him. Amidst the turmoil, Mia's mother-in-law approaches her, pretending to offer assistance. However, sensing something is off, Mia accidentally breaks her phone during their interaction. Growing suspicious of Ray and Mustard's behavior, especially when Ray unexpectedly offers her a drink, Mia manages to forward Jimmy's email to Ray, exposing Zaire's false claims about cancer. Unbeknownst to her, Ray already knows the truth. He reveals his past objections to Cal marrying her, leading to a shocking moment when he hands Charlize a knife with harmful intentions. In the struggle that follows, Charlize retaliates, resulting in her becoming unconscious. In the ensuing chaos, Mia confronts Mustard and subdues him before fleeing the house. Ray attacks her outside, but she escapes in a pickup truck, with Ray and Mustard in pursuit. After crashing the truck into a tree, Mia flees on foot and spots a car, realizing it's Cal. Initially seeming concerned, Cal's demeanor shifts as Mia overhears him confessing his complicity with Ray, admitting he was manipulated into supporting violence against her. A confrontation ensues, culminating in a tragic accident that results in Cal's death. With Ray arrested and Zaire freed, Mia severs ties with her tumultuous past, ignoring Zaire's attempts to reconnect. She discards her phone, symbolizing her choice to move on from the chaos that has engulfed her life. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.